Hello, little Leo. Say hello. He is always here with me. Yeah. Eh, We'll be happy to be able to have it warm enough that he can cut his hair short. Be so much easier to groom him. He's not due for a bath until this Friday. You can't bathe him too much, or it just dries their hair out so much. So he's happy to be here with us, and he's looking forward to some treats. As soon as I put him over here, he'll want some good treats, so he'll have to settle and lay down, and that's what we're going to have him do. As you know, this is my weekly video. And I had a whole thing I was going to talk about here. Uh, chicken. Settle lay down. Settle lay down. Good boy. Settle lay down. Settle lay down. Okay. Good boy. All right. Now, just think of something every week to talk about. And I thought about all the different little pockets of consciousness that we have going on all around the world. And we have, this side and that side, they have their God who's batting for them to win. We have lots of little lies that we tell ourselves and others in our myths of what reality is about. Think about it is all this stuff, these little pockets of reality, they do create reality in a way because we are coming from a certain perspective. Now, I'm just a granny. And what are these videos? They're not a conversation. So I'm not they aren't unless they go live and people come on and I see what they're typing there. What, can you get a lecture from a granny? Maybe. I probably could. Uh, a discourse from a granny? I think so. In my seventh decade, I think I'm still here. I made it there. It's got to be worth something, I would think. Unless we're in such a hedacious world that our seniors don't matter. And I do wonder if we aren't coming upon that. They took an extra $150 out of my check this year. My Social Security check is smaller this year than it's ever been since I started on Social Security. And everything is going up like crazy. Just crazy. So my husband and I, with all the war and that kind of stuff going on, and who knows what's going to happen in the world, I'm thoroughly convinced that, well, we might get knocked back to the Stone Age. It's possible. It doesn't seem that people can get along on this planet very well. And everybody's got their pocket of consciousness and their myth and their story and their God. And their God's always on their side. I mean, if you're going to have a God, he might as well be on your side, wouldn't you think? So I guess that's what I thought about today. And then, well, life just ordinary daily life hit me today. I thought that our laundry room, which is below the rest of the house, it's kind of on cement, and when it floods in there, which it just did, I thought it had dried out enough, but I went in to do some wash, and well, it didn't work. So my nice husband, who is so brilliant at fixing things. I'm telling you, he really is. He's so good at it. I know there's a lot of men who are not as good at it as he is. But we couldn't get it fixed. And so what did we have to do? Get all the clothes out of there. Well, kind of stir it up because it wouldn't agitate the clothes. It just filled up with water. So he's still working on that. We're thinking maybe it just wasn't dry enough and he's got some other things to do with it. We don't have big incomes around here. So, uh, we're live in a little town, um, in a place where I don't breathe very well wasn't very advantageous to me and my social security check and what it would be. Anyway, that's the way it is. So we try to fix whatever we can fix. We just had car problems. I don't know if I mentioned that. Oh, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, the car started conking out. It would just little me in there, and if there's one thing that will really stress me out, it's car problems. And so what was wonderful, felt like there was a flow of life going along. In my benefit, I was able to turn the corner after it kind of quit with any power, and I was able to get it up into the grocery outlet parking lot and literally park. Now, at that point, I was so stressed out because I also had my usual breathing problems. So I thought, okay, we're going to stop here. We're going to have to call my husband because that's who I turn to, for everything. I just do. And um, I went, okay, I'm going to go in and do the grocery shopping. So I did that. And I just thought, I'm going to let it go for a minute, just give it to, and hope there's something there. God, are you on my side? Are you there? I need some help. And so I did my shopping and I came out. And as I walked down to my car, which I was literally able to get into a parking spot. It was down, and he wasn't parked in a parking spot. He was down at the edge of the parking lot when you come in. And right where I could see him was a taxi. Can you believe that? Just sitting there. And so I went over to him and I said, are you waiting here for anyone? And he said, no. I said, well, I may need a ride home. Are you going to be here for a second? And he said, yes. So I went and got in my car and called my husband. I said, is it something like I'm going to take this taxi home? That's all I'm going to do, Sydney. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the car here and I'm going to take the taxi home. And he thought that was just fine. And so um, I took the taxi home. And when we got there, he was able to take my husband back. And yes, it wasn't that cheap, but boy, what a blessing. Ah, my gosh. He was able to take my husband back. It turned out it was the battery. So he was able to get the car. He's better at this stuff. I'll tell you, there's one thing I don't like, are cars breaking down. Don't like it. It really stresses me out to the max. But you know what? I was taken care of, and I'm really grateful for that, for whatever it is. Um, I'm so grateful. So anyway, he was able to go over to Barney Mart and get a battery, and he's so handy. He was just putting the battery in. Now we may have another problem with the car. We're still working on that, and I don't want to go anywhere in the car by myself at this point. It it's just a little Kia Rio. We're both just like modest in our material things. Our kids aren't. That car would never do for any of our children, none. So, we got millennials and the Generation X. Generation X is really good at the material thing. Seems to be, anyway. So anyway, uh, that's how that went. And I am so grateful that that taxi was there. It was almost like someone whistled out and said, "Hey, go park over here. There's a lady that's going to need your help." And I can't tell you how much stress that took off of me because you know when I have stress and I'm sick and I have to take steroids, you know what goes up? My blood pressure really skyrockets. It's not even controllable. So to have him show up and my little service dog was with me. Oh, he was licking my hand like a maniac because that is one of his tasks. And it was a blessing to have that little dog with me too, I'll tell you. So that's my pocket of consciousness. In everyday life, we have things that happen. And today it was, well, I thought I could wash my clothes after what, 2.5 weeks or something. I don't know. So we have a dryer. The dryer's working. So anyway, he helped me. My husband helped me, and we got the clothes wrung out, and I put them in the bathtub in this room with me, in the bathroom back here. I mean, in the back of the house, and I was able to, rinse the clothes, get the soap out, and wring them out and put them in in the dryer. And I'm just doing it in pieces because I don't want to tax the dryer because I can't wring them out like a washer could do. I thought at that time, it really wasn't that bad in the old days where I thought, God, a wringer sure would be helpful. They used to have those old time ringers. I think it'd be better if you had one that went by hand because you could stop it. I can remember hearing stories that women would get, I don't know, you'd sure want to put your hair up, get their hair caught in a ringer that was electrical. Oh, that sounds dreadful. And then they kind of had hobs they could put their clothes in and stuff, I think. And, even if you did things by hand, what the heck? It'd be some exercise. We all need some exercise. We're all gosh darn too fat. Too many. So I mean, I just don't think that would be so bad uh, at all. And but they made modern washers, so they're supposed to do everything except when they break. So anyway, that's what I was thinking as I was wringing out my clothes in the bathtub. What kind of wringer sure would be nice. Just get that water out. So I'm putting them in the dryer, baby in the dryer, and these are old appliances too. You should know this. Very old. I don't know how old they are. Not as old as me, but they're old. So that's how my day went as I was trying to figure out what I was going to talk about with this weekly video. I might do some more videos, past this one. I don't know, but this is my weekly, and we're just going to put it out there. That was my pocket of consciousness today. So, how I have to say, when things happen, you know what I do? The only thing that helps me, because otherwise the mind starts spinning, and you you're so focused on the horribleness that's happening that you forget to be grateful. So I do practice gratitude every day. I just, I do have a complaining mind. Oh my God, my mind will be complaining at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to sleep. Thank you very much. I got an insomnia thing going, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do about this? I got to work with this and get the mind to stop at 3, 4, 5 in the morning. So again, stop that. Why am I not remembering to do that? It's kind of like it gets a hold of me before I'm really awake. It starts shaking me up. But I'm going to keep working on it. If I've got to do it 3 or 4 in the morning, stop that. Just put that mind in its place because the reality it's trying to give me just basically may not be true. There might be another reality out there. And usually when we are worried about something it's something that won't even happen. and we do control our destiny. No, that's a hard one to take in too, to think you made your own life. Some of you are probably pretty happy with your lives, and that's great. Um, there are pockets of consciousness on this planet that seem to work really well. That's why we have mainstream people and lots of them. If we didn't have them, nothing would work. So it's a good thing. But anyway, I wrote notes here, and I'm left-handed, and actually, my mother changed me when I was a baby. I think I was probably real right-handed. I can't hardly read my writing anymore. I'm really trying to do good at it, but it's almost like why try? It's I don't know. But anyway, I hope someone enjoys these. I'm gonna just keep doing them because they're valid. Because I'm a person that at least made it to my seventh decade. So I must know something. I must know something. And a lot of us are gonna be going, you know, baby boomers are a huge part of the population. Yeah, I think, quite frankly, there is conspiracy to get rid of us. Where there's too many, there's people in power that, we don't have enough young people working. We don't, it's lopsided. They stole Social Security money from us and never replaced it. I don't know. So, I actually am grateful for every day that I have and every time I get to see loved ones and my children and my grandchildren, because I am well aware it could be the last time. So I like to have as much peace and love in my heart. And the conflict can go bye-bye. Anything or anyone um, that is disturbing to me. I don't have any more time for them. Not in the least bit. I just don't have the time left for it. So I don't practice that. That's probably for younger people, So anyway, that this is my video, and here we are with these pockets of consciousness, and at the same time, life keeps happening. We could have all these plans and all these informations, and those things really are helpful. They help. They're what gets us focused and motivated and gets us going in the right direction along with our energy. It's not rocket science, really. It's practical to have this consciousness that knows that they create their own lives for whatever it is. We all have different priorities, I believe, when we come into this life. We're all different. We're not all the same. Some of us are more different than others, and we can be hard to understand. I might be a person that's hard to understand. The people won't understand why all of a sudden I don't want to be around anyone anymore. And that's it. That's enough. No more. Because I have the kind of personality that always is looking to just I'm not a big fighter. I'm just not. I don't have that kind of makeup in me. So when someone keeps pushing it and being dominating, and I think, well, I just if I love them enough, they'll just be someone else. Well, this is not the truth of the matter. It took me a long time to realize that. And that was part of making my life, you see. Which came from pockets of consciousness from generations before and before and before and before. And at some point, it must stop. So I believe I'm one of those people who came to have it stop. And that's it. So I have so much time left. And I want to enjoy it and make the most of it. There's going to be days like today with the washer. And, as you get older, some of these things are, these physical things, these things that go wrong, you don't really have a lot of money. Yeah, they tax you. So, but it sure turned out okay. And I'm really grateful for my husband at being so good at fixing things. So, my dog's complaining now, and I think I'll stop this video and just put it on. So there's not a lot of woo-woo. I thought there'd be more woo-woo in this video. Maybe in the next video there'll be some more woo-woo. And I hope this is something that y'all can relate to, because I know there's some. Let's see, what did I use? Grampy. I would gave my husband the name Grampy when I was talking to my grandson down in San Diego one day. I think he thought I was saying something else because I'm stuffed up and it's hard sometimes for people to understand me. Grampy, I'm Granny and Cindy's Grampy. And he thought I said grumpy. It's nice to have things to laugh about. I like that. I want to have more of that. So anyway, I hope there's somebody who can relate to this. I went rattling on a lot longer than I thought I would. I thought I'd make this really, really actually short. So, okay, there are you other people out there. You're having your struggles too. Many of the boomers they're YouTubers. So, YouTube world out there, hello. All right.